Well, it's official. It's over. Somewhere right now, Rick Glasser is busting a nut. Paramount Global has officially cut Showtime Sports, Showtime Championship Boxing, Showbox, Showtime Boxing International. It's all gone. The last boxing show on regular Showtime was Tim Zoo. Shout out to Tim Zoo. Uh, I don't even know where to begin. So let me tell you this though. We have a very good press conference coming up momentarily with undisputed. Well, I guess he's lost a couple of his belts, but undisputed champion, former undisputed champion, Devin Haney taking on 140-pound WBC champion Regis Prograis. That press conference is going to be starting in the next couple of minutes or so. So we're going to be here about the next 90 minutes talking a lot of boxing. You know, I've heard this news at the very beginning of this year. Was it in the spring? I think it was in the spring or the beginning of this year, where it was like we heard it before, but like this year, it was like, yeah, you're going to see a steep decrease in Showtime boxing events. They're going to be pay-per-views. And I was like, how are they going to do that? They're going to do a pay-per-view every month? They was like, yeah, they're going to try to. And I was like, oh, shit. And then as time started going on, as I started looking at the schedule, because, you know, normally, if things were healthy, Showtime, they would normally do a spring, summer schedule release, a fall, winter schedule release, and we noticed more and more pay-per-views. And when they started putting fights that would be on regular Showtime on pay-per-view, that's when I knew, like, for example, Tank versus Rolly, that shit, this, you know, come on. I mean, it was a fun event, but come on. We would have got that on regular HBO with Showtime years back. Even though it was a different network with Fox Sports, New Year's Day of 2022, okay, they put Luis Ortiz versus Prince Charles Martin on pay-per-view. Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius is on pay-per-view. What were they thinking? And how long was it going to go on? Ratings were dropping. Boxing has a low replay value, especially more than ever, where you can just go on and watch the highlights afterwards. Unless you're a real boxing purist, why are you going back? Like, casual fans aren't saying, damn, I didn't buy the pay-per-view this week, but I'm going to watch it next. It's not the same as it used to be. Numbers have been down all across the board. Everybody's been getting budget cuts. DAZN, ESPN. But the biggest problem with PBC, make sure this press conference is about to start. Hold on, let me make sure I got the link up. The biggest problem, you know, that I saw with PBC, they pushed the press conference back 15 minutes, so that's good. We got some time. Was that the business model? Al Haymon, when he got that money, what was it, about $500 million or so? He was very heavy-handed with not wanting to work with anyone, other promoters and networks. And he was putting on a lot of in-house fights where you would have a guy like Danny Garcia facing Rod Soka. Danny Garcia is making a guarantee, not talking about, as they would say, oh, well, the other Al Haymon checks, but on paper, Danny Garcia will be making like $1.5 million, some shit like that, to fight Rod Soka. Rod Soka making like $300,000, $400,000. You have these guys making millions of dollars fighting bullshit fights. And it was at a high frequency. You had Guerrero pulling $1 million a fight post Mayweather, before he fought Keith Thurman, after he fought Keith Thurman. He was giving that money away like candy, but they wasn't fighting each other. And slowly, one by one, network deals started disappearing. Remember, by the way, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to show you this real quick. Because I had to really think to myself, like, wait, like, this guy's had a whole bunch of fucking deals. Now, this is not an Al Heyman hate video. Don't get me started on that because people get real sensitive when you start being critical of that man. But at the end of the day, we gotta go by the stats. And as Floyd Mayweather would say, numbers don't lie. This is from Twitter. Here, I'll put my Twitter handle here for you in the chat. After he left HBO, he used and leveraged Mayweather and his vast stable of fighters to get his new deal with Showtime. Then he used that deal with Showtime and Mayweather to get his deal with the different networks. But I'll put my Twitter in the chat here. Here goes my Twitter. So listen to this. Now tell me this ain't, alarming. Alarming. At one point, after HBO, right? He got that big Showtime deal off of the back of Floyd Mayweather. What was it like? I forgot what it was, guaranteed. It was something crazy, like $250 million guaranteed Floyd got. That was just a guaranteed, not all the back end money from the Canelo fight, from the Pacquiao fight, So after Showtime, while he was with Showtime, he built PBC. PBC was Showtime was having kind of a bad year because he had fights that he had to produce for NBC. That was the main deal. PBC on NBC. Then he had CBS cards, Spike TV cards, Bounce TV cards, NBC Sports TV cards, Fox TV cards, and Fox Sports all at the same time. All those networks. At one point in time, he had all of those. Interesting fact. Erislandy Lara was the last fight for PBC on ESPN and PBC on Spike. For PBC on ESPN, he fought Jan Zavek. It was these empty beach chairs in the front row. ESPN was like, no, that's it. We're done with this shit. Laura's last fight, the last PBC on Spike fight, they pulled Yuri Furman out of somewhere. My God. Erislandy Lara fought Yuri Furman. Right here, this bum-ass knee. Yuri Furman was flopping all over the place like a fish. It was horrible. Why? It's because Erislandy Lara commands a lot of money. So they were showcase fights. So it's like, damn, we got Erislandy Lara got to get his $2 million guaranteed. That eats up all the budget that the network's given and whatever PBC money that they were putting into it. So therefore, you got to find a guy like Yuri Foreman, like, hey, bro, we got this $200,000 for you. You see what I'm saying? You'll have Sean Porter fighting Eric Bonet. Shit like that. And after a while, it caught up because you're seeing across all these different networks from CBS. Don't get me wrong. They did give us James DeGale versus, what was that, Andre Durrell? You'll get some gems here and there. Like, for example, Adrian Broner versus Sean Porter. But they was too infrequent. It wasn't enough of them. So slowly but surely, you started seeing more and more bullshit fights on these networks. So then he got the Fox deal. A re-up on the Fox deal. So all the other networks were gone. There was no more ESPN. There was no more ABC. They were supposed to put on a card on ABC, but never got around to it. But they lost all those other networks, so it was then Fox Sports Networks, and Showtime. And I think they still had like little cards on Bounce TV at the time. I don't remember. Well, anyway, the Fox card started falling off. You know how? Because I was at the very first card for that new deal with PBC. It was supposed to be Jamal Charlo versus Willie Monroe Jr. and Jamel Charlo versus Tony Harrison. It was like, okay, y'all starting off, and then it became Jamal Charlo versus Korobov. And I was like, okay, wait, was that the first card for the new deal? I think it was. Well, anyway, they were starting off pretty hot. And then after a while, bullshit after bullshit cards started happening. It's like, okay, we're getting on free TV Fox, Carlos fucking Negron versus Dominic Brazil or whoever. Yo! Like, don't get me wrong. It's like, okay, cool. But prime time Saturday night, I'm not trying to see that shit. Those fights don't move the needle. They don't move the needle. So my theory is, and it's been long, like, rumored and talked about, with other media, is that Al Haymon, he takes care of his fighters. You can't argue that. His fighters get taken care of. But at a detriment, because back in 2014, 2015, 2016, you can pay Danny Garcia $2 million guaranteed to fight whoever the fuck he was fighting back then. And some bullshit fight, but yet you want him to make $2 million again fighting a bigger fight than whoever the bullshit he was fighting before. I'm not using the right names, but just follow what I'm saying. Is that the money dried up, and he created this landscape to where these fighters like, hey, I'm not taking no pay cut. And what happens? You got these fighters going on these long extended layoffs, long layoffs. What's a common trend with PBC fighters, especially the top ones? What's a common trend? If they lose a fight, they usually go on a long layoff. If they win a fight, they usually go on a long layoff, unless you're like somebody like Tank Davis. And then with such a large stable that he has, Showtime is not a sports network. It's only but so many dates they have a year. So much of a budget, they don't have it anymore for boxing. And what did we notice this year is that all of these fights were funded by the fans. Al Haymon, go out there, sell yourself. When he had that big army of undefeated fighters back in 2014, 2015, 2016, he was trying to build the army of Floyd Mayweathers. I'm talking about the business model, like stay undefeated. We're going to keep marinating and get you, this fight's going to be bigger later on down the line, later on down the line, over marinating. When Mayweather was fighting, the reason why the model worked, in my opinion, especially when it came to the 147-pounders, because you would be watching those fighters like Marcos Maidana fight Adrian Broner to see like, oh, who's going to be the next guy to fight Floyd Mayweather? You see what I'm saying? There hasn't been that guy. And what we've noticed is when these guys finally step up to major significant competition, especially outside of their stable, they lose. Stephen Fulton, Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, and guys like Caleb Plant. And I'm always picking on Caleb Plant. But listen, guys like that I've never seen like to be that good. Not a pay-per-view guy to me. And when you look at the resume, and I watch boxing, it's like you can't sell that shit to me. You can't sell me Jose Uzcategui. Oh, he beat Uzcategui, the boogeyman. I seen Uzcategui get spanked up by Matvey Korobov. So this shit been cooking for a long time. And then, you had a lot of people, and I was reading the comments on social media. It's like, but Showtime is having its best year. No shit. They're fighting for they were fighting for their jobs. Like, I don't understand how people couldn't see that. It's like they putting on all these good fights because they have to. They're trying to show somebody, network execs or somebody, listen, we can do this. Let's keep boxing around. Look, we got this, we got that, we putting on this. But in reality, outside of Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, from my understanding, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, even though it did phenomenal numbers in my opinion, it didn't reach the expectations of, probably what the network executives were thinking. Deontay Wilder don't move the needle. Yeah, he did, one, like, if you really think about it, it was only really one time he moved the needle with the Fury fight, and that was the rematch. Tank Davis doing 200 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys until Ryan Garcia. Like, that's not enough for Showtime to be like, yeah, that guy's the next face of boxing. However, you do have to commend Al Haymon because when he signed Canelo and he got Crawford under the deal, I said to myself, it's like, yo, that's a smart-ass move. You know why? It's because he can go to a network or a broadcaster with that portfolio to be like, look, we got Terrence Crawford, we got Canelo, and they look at the numbers and see like, yeah, he do got the top guys. You know, and he could say we could put this fight together. We got that super fight of possibly Canelo versus Crawford. We could put that together. You know, he can take that to Amazon or the Zone and start leveraging for his fighters. Now, this press conference is about to start, by the way, for Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. But this shit been a long time coming. And don't get me wrong, I do feel some type of way, like, damn, Showtime going? Like, it hasn't really hit yet, I guess. It's not really, like, it hasn't really hit. You know, because I'm just thinking, like, damn, they're really going. But I don't watch anything on Showtime or Paramount. You know, Dexter been on for years. I watched the last season a couple years ago, but I have no reason to keep Showtime anymore. Let's go look at this boxing scene article. We got the ESPN one here, too. For 37 years, Showtime Championship Boxing is televised as the biggest fight in sport, but the network will exit boxing programming at the end of 2023. My God, I'm so happy that Steven Jackson is gone. I can't stand that nigga. Excuse my language. As we evolve our strategy to more efficiently allocate resources to align our content offering across the business, we've made the difficult decision to not move forward boxing and other content produced by the Showtime sports team, the company said. Showtime will continue to air and support the remaining 2023 boxing slate and honor obligations through the end of the year. We want to express our deepest gratitude to our employees who have contributed to this award-winning sports programming over multiple decades, 37 years. PBC has had an exclusive deal with Showtime, has been the main provider of fights on the network since 2013. That included sports top star Floyd Mayweather Jr. They still got 2 more fights on that Canelo deal. Their next fight is going to be Andre versus David Benavidez on November the 25th. Jamal Charlos will be taking on Jose Benavidez Jr. And Brandon Figueroa, Ray Vargas. We're waiting on a 4th fight. Sheesh. That's tough, man. That's tough. I think Crawford will fight Canelo. No bullshit. I think it would happen. Where's my chat? Where's my chat at? What's going on? Where's my chat? But yeah, man, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. You know, and that shit, you know, it was getting outrageous. At one point in time, it's just like, okay, like, what are you guys doing? By the way, that last fight, let's put their last cards, which are going to be pay-per-views. The last actual Showtime card on regular Showtime was Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza. November the 25th is going to be on pay-per-view, David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. And December the 9th is being rumored to be a Floyd Mayweather exhibition, which I think if it's going to be the last fight on Showtime, I think it should be Floyd Mayweather. And then you're hearing rumors of Iris Lara taking on Danny Garcia. That's been a long agreed-to fight. The catchweight at 155 for the WB 160-pound title. And Keith Thurman in a separate fight on that card. So you have Mayweather headlining in an exhibition, likely against that Gotti Jr. I hope not. Danny Garcia versus Iris Lara, and then Keith Thurman versus a TBA. But when you look at, like, you know, when you look at this deeper, you have to think like, damn. That, you know, for example, when Boots Ennis had the chance to fight Terrence Crawford on BLK Prime, and Boots is not a PBC fighter, he's not an Al Haymon fighter. You have to think, like, he turned down a lot of money. And his father confirmed it, you know, for staying loyal to Showtime. Remember, Deontay Wilder lost a lot of money that he confirmed on his Twitter, you know, when he was beefing with Tyson Fury, talking about how much money he turned down to fight him and not take the Zone's money. And these fighters are getting old now, man. You know, even if they have a big pay, let's say, for example, they fight one fight a year. Make $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, you're still missing another fight. You know, you got guys like Andy Ruiz, who's making all these outrageous demands. You know, $10 million. It's like, bro, where are you getting this money from? His fight against Chris Arreola didn't look good on paper. And think about all the fighters that have been inactive. And let's not forget, Adrian Broner said it a long time ago as well. Here, I'm going to pull that up real quick. Adrian Broner was the one that was really, like, he was, like, really putting business out there. Let me see. Broner. And now these fighters may be going to fight on an app. How about that? They may be going to fight on an app. Can you believe that? All that shit they were talking. All that shit they were talking. You know what would be wild if they go to the Zone? I don't want them to go to the Zone. The Zone is $27 a month. $250 a year. Nowhere near worth that money. And if they get PBC, you're damn right they're probably going to go up on the price. Now, if they go to Amazon, I'm interested if Amazon would pick up the Showtime team, because all those people, unfortunately, are going to get laid off, or they're getting laid off. So here's the thing about Amazon. Amazon has been known to just throw away money. I'm not saying they're going to be throwing away money at boxing, but they produce a lot of movies and shows where they just give it like outrageous budgets and don't even care if they make money off of it. The problem I have with that is if PBC goes to Amazon and Bezos says, look, we're going to give you this big ass budget, will they go back to putting on bullshit fights again? What is it called? Brand trust? I don't trust PBC when they get money. I don't trust them. Is that a crime? Because if they get money and a new network deal, they have always shown us that it's pulling teeth to make a big fight. Whether it's the fighters or whether it's the advisor or whoever. You know, so I'm scared that if they get more money, if they get more money, then they're going to start putting on bullshit fights again, like they did with every network that they've been on. You know? I'm trying to find that interview Broner did when he was talking about PBC Showtime shutting down. So as I said, you can say whatever you want about Al Haymon. He's giving us, you can say the good, right? The good is like he's giving us the biggest fights of all time, or the most marketable fights of all time. But on the bad end, it's like, yo, you gave us a lot of fucking bullshit too, and you did kill a lot of TV deals. Why is that glossed over? Like, dude killed a lot of TV deals, bro, with bullshit. You got some comments here. Everyone's giving their thoughts on what's been going on with PBC. If you haven't heard, Showtime has been officially cut by Paramount Global and are no longer going to be broadcasting boxing at the end of the year. The last two cards, both pay-per-views, are November the 25th with David Benavidez taking on Demetrius Andrade, Jamal Charlo taking on Jose Benavidez Jr., Ray Vargas taking on Brandon Figueroa, and the fourth fight is not announced. The last card of Showtime, now remember, they're getting out of Showtime Sports as a whole. There will be no pay-per-views. There will be no Showbox. There will be no Showtime Championship Boxing. There will be no international fights. In fact, the last actual regular Showtime fight that wasn't pay-per-view was this weekend, Tim Tszyu. And that was an international card. What was their last Showtime fight? Somebody remind me. That was actually Showtime Championship Boxing. December the 9th is supposed to be rumored to be a card headlined by Floyd Mayweather, and I think it's only fitting for Floyd Mayweather to close out the last show of Showtime. In an exhibition, that's the bullshit of it. Likely against that Gotti guy when they had the brawl in the ring. Erislandy Lara taking on Danny Garcia at a catch weight of 155 pounds for the WBA 160-pound title. And then Keith Thurman in a return. That's supposed to be the last Showtime boxing show. Everyone's getting laid off. Sad circumstances. Steven Espinoza, he's always been straight with me. No, we're talking about regular Showtime card, not a Showtime pay-per-view. So I'm not going to shit on Stephen Espinoza. I've interviewed him multiple times, and they always been, like straight with me. But yeah, he's been denying it. But at the beginning of the year is when I heard, as I talked about earlier in the video, was that, damn, they were having some issues. Especially with all this is what I heard, is that expect for it to be a lot of pay-per-views and that there not to be a boxing schedule of regular boxing. Something along those lines. And then that's when I started putting things together, like, damn, and then once he signed Canelo and Crawford to multi-fight deals that would spread into 2024, I said, oh, he signed these two big stars to fluff up the portfolio. So when he goes to a network like the rumored Amazon or The Zone, he can be like, look, I got this fighter and I got this fighter. They generate this. You see what I'm saying? Because you got Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder ain't really been moving no numbers. And in the back of my head, I wonder if that's what's been holding up Wilder versus Joshua. In a way, Haymon's been like, listen, just hold on. I got this good deal. I don't know. I'm just speculating right there. But what was really bringing my piss to a boil is that fans didn't see what was going on, or they did. They just were in denial, where it was like, oh, but Showtime's having the best year ever. And the writing was on the wall to me, especially, I barely finished college, for business, Cheney University. So I'm not saying I'm some big business corporate fat cat knowing all the stocks and all the numbers and all that shit. Nope, that ain't me. But on a very fundamental level, I'm thinking like, okay, they're putting all these pay-per-views. Their regular content is going down. Viewership is going down on their regular Showtime content. You have these news coming out about Paramount making cuts all across the board. The merger, it just was so many signs. And then once Haymon signed up Canelo and once he signed up Crawford, I said, yo, this shit is for real. Showtime is on the way out. And Adrian Broner had brought it up in the past. Let me see if I can find that clip. Adrian Broner was one of the first to really bring it up. And he was like, yo, this boxing shit on Showtime might be over. Let me see if I can find that clip. Let's see if I can find that clip. And then all these fighters are getting older. All these fighters getting older. All these layoffs. You have more and more fighters taking year-plus layoffs in their 30s. Or, like asking for like these ridiculous amount of money. I can't seem to find it. I can't find the video. I did a video on it, but basically Adrian Broner was like, yo, this Showtime boxing shit may be over. And people thought he was bullshitting. But here's what Dan Rayfield had to say. Let's see. Since I've been doing a video, the news just came out not even maybe about 4 hours ago, give or take. Let's see. Terrence Crawford. Wait, what did Ryan Garcia had to say? So what you guys say? Today is a really important day for boxing. HBO and Showtime defined our sport for a generation, and now they're both out. All us boxers need to make this our collective fight. We got to be thinking about marketing, new audiences, investors, global, all of it. Boxing is still the greatest sport in the world. We just got to reimagine it. Yeah, when you got YouTubers, I was just talking about it last week. These press conferences be boring as fuck. Well, not today, but that's because you had to have a whole bunch of niggerdom and cussing and bullshit. I was talking about last week on how you can have a good press conference with fighters not slapping each other or throwing tables or throwing N-bombs and cussing. There's ways you can do it to make it more interactive, to reach younger audiences. Because some of these joints just be, it's like y'all just going through the motions. Like, who are you appealing to? A fucking 60-year-old man? But anyway, all them people getting laid off. I couldn't agree more, Ryan Garcia. The system we have isn't going to fix this. We got to think different. Look at all the other sports is building empires by doing it right. Us fighters need to come together. We can fight in the ring, but work together for our sport and our family. Yeah, but the thing is, motherfuckers ain't been fighting. Look how many fights have been just over-marinated to the point where fans just get so frustrated and pissed off. And then you have the other fans who are promoter or network, how you want to say it, followers, like not necessarily follow the sport, but they're like, well, as long as Al Haymon's winning. It's like, yo, y'all be comfortable with these bullshit fights? And for things have got to a point where, right, you have to always look at the common denominator with things. For example, if you're in relationships and everybody always says you have a bad attitude, then you have to think one day, damn, I may have a bad attitude. So this is what I tweeted earlier. At one point, PBC had ESPN, Viacom Network, Spike TV. There was a PBC on ESPN, PBC on Spike, PBC on CBS, PBC on Showtime, PBC on NBC, PBC on Fox Sports, PBC on Fox, PBC on NBC Sports, PBC on Bounce TV. They were even on HBO. If you keep losing all these networks where they just be like, nope, we're not bringing you back. Or nope, we just gonna die. Spike fucking croaked boxing. Showtime is done. You have to think, damn, maybe my system ain't working. So you damn right Showtime and PBC was putting on the best fights this year, but they were pay-per-view and they were fighting for their careers. They were fighting for a new contract. Does that not make sense? Does it make sense now? It's like, oh, no wonder why they was giving us the fights that we wanted and we've been asking for. They were going out of business sale. Let's make all the money we can before we bounce. Oh, yeah, they want Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. Make that shit. Let's just get this money real quick before it's over. Spence versus Crawford. All right, fuck it. Let's make it. But PBC didn't really want Spence Crawford. It all makes sense now. Remember, Spence said it himself. You know, they were trying to steer him, and I'm guessing they means Al Haymon, to fight Keith Thurman, to keep it in-house. Spence was a valuable asset to PBC. Now he got his ass beat. I'm talking about he got his ass whipped. It's not like he lost a close fight or was controversy. He got beat the fuck up. Your market drops fast when some shit like that happens. So Haymon wanted his war chest. So right now his war chest is he can go to Amazon or The Zone and be like, look, we got Canelo. He's the face of boxing. We got Tank Davis, the guy we're calling the face of boxing. We got Terrence Crawford. You know, we got the biggest knocker. We got Deontay Wilder. You see what I'm saying? It makes sense now. It makes sense now. And plus, it's been shown because fans, when it comes to ratings, let's just keep it with ratings. Let's just keep it with ratings. Fans ain't even been watching this shit that you get with your network. The ratings been falling. Fans just be like, you know, I ain't watching that shit. I'm going to go out, you know, with my girl or some people ain't standing for boxing like they used to. And then the fights that are on pay-per-view, this streaming has got really good. You can damn near watch these streams in 4K. You can damn near watch these fucking pirated streams in 4K. I'm talking, and the young people, you know, these young people ain't working. They buy, I mean, they stealing all this shit. They sharing the shit out them links. So where can I watch this fight? Here, you get, Especially if it's a bullshit card, like a Luis Ortiz versus a Chris Arreola. Oh, that joint being, I bet you a fight like that would get 3 to 4 times more people streaming than actually paying for it. If a fight like that do 100,000 pay-per-view buys, not seeing it did that, but a fight like that do 100,000, you best believe that at least maybe 300,000, 400,000 streaming that shit, watching that shit for free. And y'all putting shit like that on pay-per-view. It was a long time coming. It was a long time coming. My biggest fear, as I said earlier in the video, is that I'm just hoping that because Amazon likes to throw away money. Amazon, if Al Haymon is able to convince them, Amazon, I'm scared that he gonna get that Amazon money and he gonna go back and he gonna start putting on bullshit fights again. Because Amazon, they have a history of throwing money into everything. You know, like just, you know, in the bullshit shows, movies, companies, everything. You know, so if he get his hands on that money and he's able to run all the boxing over there, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. When I look at all these networks that he done fucked up, Like, why can't we be critical of Al Haymon? He had all these networks. You know what people are saying? I'm not saying it's true, but they're saying he killed Showtime Boxing. They're saying he killed Showtime Boxing. He killed PBC on Fox. Is it him or is it his business model? Like, do he be sitting, like, what do he do? Because you know he a reclusive dude. Do he be sitting there like, yo, fucking, give me, they gonna love this shit. Give me Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view. But put that shit after Christmas on New Year's Day. They're gonna love that shit. Bullshit. Or it's like, yo, I'm telling you, Deontay Wilder, put him against Robert Helenius. Tom Brown, call up TB. Hey, man, I think that this Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius, I think he can do $1 million. Like, what do they be thinking when they be putting this shit on? Because it's been going on for a long time, Jack. A long ass time. Rolly, it was an exciting fight, an exciting build-up, but fucking Rolly shouldn't have been on pay-per-view. Rolly, these fights be fucked up. And don't get it twisted. Fucking Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, I'm going to shit on that fight. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to shit on that fight. I buy all the pay-per-views, but I can still shit on them. Yeah, I don't trust, man. I do not. If Amazon gives Al Haymon money, I don't trust it. Because he going to be like, all right, guys, we got this bread. Let me tell you something. Jamel, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of bullshit fights. You good, dog. Jamal, you back? What? We going to put you against 147 pounders. Like, bro, nope. He going to start putting on them A sides against fucking J sides again. I'm scared to death. However, if he go to the zone, then maybe they'll have a little bit of a leash on him. Like, yo, you got to give us these fights. You know, we ain't doing no bullshit. Remember the story about how at one point in time, they tried to get away with not making Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Remember the whole story how it took Les Moonves, who turned out to be a pervert, by the way, and the meeting and network executives to come together and be like, yo, like, I keep hearing about this Mayweather Pacquiao. Why ain't it getting made? Remember that shit? That was a real thing. That was a whole all access. No, what was it called? It wasn't all access. I think it was called, I forgot what it was. The Mayweather Pacquiao build-up episodes. It was one for HBO and then one for Showtime. You know, but anyway, it was like, they didn't even want to make that shit. Wild. I'm surprised the shit lasted as long as it did, man. Danny Garcia versus Rod Sulka. Shit like that. Bullshit. Crazy. But listen, let me get up out of here. I got to edit this up. And we got a busy week of boxing. By the way, Boxer, Sky Sports BOXXER, they've signed an exclusive deal with Peacock and NBC, which is a better deal than the Zone. So basically, all Sky Sports fights from the UK are going to be here on NBC Sports and the app Peacock. You can't beat that. Peacock is only $6.29 a month over here in the States. And you get WWE. But Joshua Buatsi and Aziz got injured. So their very first card just got jacked up, but that's still big news. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on. But I got to go. I got to hit the gym. Check your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView 360. The next video I'm going to be doing is me and Big J are going to be doing a recap on Tim Tszyu, Brian Mendoza. And now that we got Liam Paro returning against Montana Love and Ebony Bridges returning, we got some more things to talk about. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Also, I'm going to be chopping this video up later in shorter form. So basically you'll be able to get my whole thoughts on PBC and Showtime. Here's my Twitter, by the way. TstreeT Controversy here. I'll put the motherfucking put it in chat. All right, thanks for watching. Yeah, I am thinking about streaming on Twitch. Very close. I just haven't had the time. I've been getting a lot of work done to my house. But I will be streaming on Twitch soon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.